today's topic around all things marketing. And as I do every single day here, start with seeing if you guys got any specific questions that you want to get diving into before I just go spitting something off the top of my head here.
Yeah, I'll go. The last time I think I was on, actually you were on here a couple weeks ago, you were talking about a avatar worksheet or something like that. I think you posted it, but I cannot seem to locate it. Is that something that you could push back out? Because I'm trying to focus on a specific group right now in order to work this housing setup thing.
Would you like me to get that in your hands?
Yes, poor favor. And then
what would it mean to you if I got that in your hands?
Say that again.
What would it mean to you if I got that in your hands?
As much as it would mean to me to give me that Tiberio Marine Corps football jersey.
You ain't getting that, dude.
Exactly. So but I could at least wear it with distinction and pride.
You aren't getting that. You aren't getting that or this.
What year did you play?
I played for a little bit during 05, 06 when I was over with the base team in Camp Lejeune.
No shit.
And then I played 9, 10, and 11 at 29 Palms for 1st Tank Battalion.
I had a buddy that was a rugby guy. He played a while. Plowman, I don't know if you know him.
Mm-hmm. I played for the base teams those sets of years. Mm-hmm. I never made it to the all Marine level of football, which would have been awesome. I did do it for softball.
That's like Division II freaking football when you're playing for that. So
yeah.
Because they go against the other academies. And then the other question that I had was based off the email interaction we had. What I was looking for was like a Calendly type of setup or connect it to my Outlook so that I can set schedules. Does that make sense?
I mean, you're talking about a calendar.
Yeah, some type of scheduler.
I mean, you could go to Calendly and get one.
Okay. That's
also one of the features that's inside of LeadVault is it's got a built-in calendar function.
Got it.
You know, Mr. I didn't need LeadVault right away.
I don't right now. I don't have the income. I need the income first.
But I know Calendly is pretty cheap. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
just the calendar function.
Yeah, they do have a free version that you can utilize, so that's not a problem. All right.
Yep. So you would just go there and
Hey Bob, all I did to afford LeadVault was to put my wife on a shopping diet.
Well, it's just me, and I'm already on the diet. I'm down 22 pounds, so I'd show you my abs, but it would be embarrassing. And no, they're not spray painted on.
All right, let me see if I can get this posted. Cool. If not, yeah, here it is. I want to let me tag you, Bob. Anybody else got something? No? We're all just here to see whatever I talk about?
I'll throw another one at you. A stale agent's house that's been on the market. It's a stale freaking listing. That's the word.
Yep.
Stale listing. How would you market to that? Or who would you market to? Would it be the agent, or would you be focused towards the seller?
Yeah. So define stale.
Over 30 days with no touches.
So it's been listed on the MLS for 30 days and nothing's happened with it.
Correct.
How did you come about this?
I fell upon it.
You saw it, or the seller reached out to you?
I saw it. I was listening to another podcast and just started looking at some stuff, and then wound up pulled up Zillow and was just looking, and Realtor, same information, same delays. And I haven't reached out to the agent yet because I wanted to get the information today before I wound up sticking my foot in my ass.
Okay. Sounds like you were listening to the Web Buzz podcast, and the Web Buzz podcast was telling you to go look for these things, right?
Sure.
Just say yes. Because I can delete the post that I just put in the group with the avatar worksheet really quick.
I just said yes. Come on, man. I know how this works.
So if it's only been 30 days, technically the agent still has to stay involved. However, it doesn't mean that you can't kind of circumvent the agent and go to the seller and start talking to the seller and figure out what the problem is and go from there first. As well. My suggestion, the way I would play it, it may not be what some of you guys would do, is just that I would try to get in touch with the seller and treat it like you didn't realize it was listed. Play stupid for a second. Just to better and let them come out and tell you that they've got it listed with an agent, and start asking the questions that are going to help you uncover what the problem is. Because although they're under a listing agreement, if the agent isn't doing certain things correctly, or if the agent isn't fulfilling up to their stuff, they can get out of that contract,
right?
And whatnot. I would play, like I said, I'm going to play dumb and I'm going to market directly to the seller. I already know they're listed. I already know they're trying to sell this property, but I want to play stupid and act like I didn't know this, and I'm just putting any other marketing in front of them.
Okay.
If they truly have been listed for 30 days and haven't gotten any traction, really haven't seen any showings and nothing's going there, any marketing you put in front of them is going to catch their attention.
Okay. And that's something I can get that information off the county website, right?
What,
probably the seller?
Yeah. I mean, I'd immediately jump on the county auditor site, or wherever you can, whatever the way your county's set up, wherever you can search for the property address.
So yeah.
Yep. Find the address of the owner. You may have to do some skip tracing if some of the data is not there or whatnot, but I would probably send a postcard to them that's like struggling to sell with a real estate agent, and a little kind of call to action message and your website. We'd love to help you out.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I wrote down. You have a stale listing, you haven't been able to sell it in less than 30 days, stuff like that, and just trying to add a little bit more to it. But I got you. It's kind of like what I was thinking with the same process. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Again, some people may not feel comfortable going that route. I'm not saying we go and cut them out immediately, but I'm going to play dumb to get their attention, to start to uncover what's really going on, so that I could try to figure out the best solution. Because maybe it just might be that, hey, it's actually priced at this price, things are going all right. Your agent's just absolutely terrible and doesn't know how to market this thing. So that's why they haven't really gotten any traction on this. And then I can go to the agent and be like, hey, let's work a deal here.
Yeah, it's in a super high desirable neighborhood. It's rehab top to bottom. So, and it's priced right in the market, and it's just sitting. And it's probably because of the flood insurance, because it's outrageous.
Well, just go straight recon mode. Cool. All right. Anybody else? Anything really quick? Nothing. What would you guys like me to talk about then? Most of you on today are the same ones that were on yesterday, and I kind of blended the 2 days. So. Wow, nobody's got anything.
I do.
What are we here for then? What's up, Chris?
So right now, where we are struggling is going over messaging. In other words, the right messaging. I know you've done a few calls and explaining them, but sometimes they're too long and sometimes they're a little bit too short. So we're trying to find the balance for our avatar that we want. And it's just very difficult for us right now.
Give me some examples.
So for example, on one of our avatars is probate. right? First message, we say, I can pull it up real quick. First message will go along the lines of very short and concise, and it would sound like, hey, so-and-so, have you just inherited a property? We have options we would love to share with you. And to me, it sounds very bland, very dry. It doesn't have that attention grabbing aspect to it. That's what we're trying to get, that the attention grabber.
I'm going into your texts.
Okay.
Which campaign is it?
Probate. K.
Okay, there it is. So we're talking about message one.
Mhm.
Hey, contact first name. Have you just inherited a property? If we have options, we'd love to share with you.
Because I know you said to keep it around a one-liner in the beginning. And that's where I'm struggling, because I can write a paragraph easily, but all the things I want to, but those short and concise messages are what's throwing me off.
Yeah. So everybody listen to this, and then I want you to tell me how it feels if you were the receiver of it. Hey, Lorraine, have you just inherited a property? We have options we would love to share with you.
Salesy.
Ding, ding. You got a text. You look down. That was the message. Was it? John says salesy. What do you think, Lorraine?
I wouldn't respond. I'd probably just look at it and maybe just keep it. It wouldn't grab me in at all. I don't know. I wouldn't have any emotion towards it, honestly.
Ding. James, what do you think?
My first question would be, okay, options about what? So it's okay, I have inherited a property. What are my options? Okay, I'd be like, I'm curious, but it wouldn't be enough for me to be like, oh, okay, let me find out what exactly they're talking about, because it is a little vague.
Chris, what's the job of our marketing?
Awareness or engagement, to create engagement.
Is it bring awareness and create engagement? Got to get them to respond. That's all I'm going for. I'm not trying to go for the full-blown yes right now. You just met her. You just saw her across the room. All you're trying to do is get her to wink at you and have some small conversation. Right? You're a big boy. You're scary. She doesn't know if she wants to marry you just yet. Just got to get her to talk a little bit, right? Then she realizes you're just a giant soft teddy bear and fun guy to cuddle with, probably. So we're warm at night.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So as you're writing these messages out, don't think short to the point to where it's like, oh, I can only go one sentence. It's short because I don't want to ramble. But I also have to ask myself, if that message hit me, would I be left going, and? So? Ooh. Sales pitch, right? True example. This got sent to me today. Can anybody tell me what this is?
That's an outbound mailer wanting to buy your property.
What? It's definitely a mailer, right? Judging by the fact that it came in the mail with a stamp on it. But this caught my attention really fast.
Looks like an invitation almost.
Yeah, right away I looked down and I was like, I was doing something in the kitchen. Deanna got the mail yesterday and had all the mail sitting by the trash can, like I said, right? She threw away all the trash mail, but guess what she didn't throw away?
The fancy envelope.
This. Well, guess what? This is trash mail. But why didn't she throw this away?
Looks like an invitation. Looks
It looked
important.
personal.
It definitely looks like something, right? It doesn't look like some piece of marketing or some piece of junk mail. This looks like, I mean, it's printed, but if you actually look close enough, it looks like that was handwritten, right? Because they've actually done to the level of where it's handwritten process on the envelope. Now, I grabbed it and I flipped it over to open it. And what don't you see on the front?
Return address.
I have no idea who this was from, right? But I flipped it over to open it, and what do I see?
Chewy.
What is Chewy?
It's a dog food company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
pet
dog. It's a dog product. We
Oh.
we get product delivered all the time. Every single month, we get all our dog food delivered from Chewy to the house. So as soon as I flipped it over, I went, they got me. Right? Now I opened it because right away I said, this is some good marketing right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this sucker and see. And I open it and look what it is. And then inside, it's because it was one of our dog's birthday last week. And when you sign up for Chewy, it asks, what's the dog's birthday? Well, whether I'm buying from them or not, why is this a smart play? Why did they drop this in the mail?
Remind you that you have access to their product.
And what is right there?
QR code.
QR code.
That if we scan this, it actually takes me back to the website, and notice underneath, it's like scan for more birthday surprises.
Is it specific to your account as well?
I haven't scanned it yet to see where it takes me and what it does. Let me do it right now. So it takes me to the birthday section of the shop so that I can buy my dog a birthday treat, right? Buy something special for their birthday or send somebody else a birthday e-gift card kind of thing. So the whole point of this was it got my attention and got me where? Back to the website, right? This type of direct mail, what do you think? Works
It's brilliant.
80-90% of the time? Absolutely.
They're at least going to see it. They're at least going to open it.
Well, not only that, it's going to probably throw you a discount as well, which then you're going to impulse buy because there's a discount.
Correct.
And it's also, it's tugging on the emotional string of the customer because that's their pet. For most people, their pet is like a child to them.
Correct.
Yes, they are.
It's
So
funny. I actually forgot that it was Winston's birthday last week until I got that.
How dare you?
And then I opened it up and I was like, oh, happy birthday, bud.
so Shawn, to take this to the next step, you got hooked in, which is great. Okay. Great marketing. I agree. How do we translate this to what we do in real estate? Let's say with what Chris mentioned about the probate thing. How do we get that hook in a positive way into these potential clients?
So this is where it kind of ties to what I was talking about yesterday, right? Where we get creative and send very unique campaigns. Probate, we know that probate, something not fun or not pleasant has gone on, right? So what if I went and bought a bunch of thinking about you type cards, or hope you're well type cards, something like that? And maybe the first mailing is just that. It's just a card. Thinking about you, hope all is well during this time.
Maybe something like, we've been through it too.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been through it, absolutely. Something that catches the attention.
So it's the romancing aspect that you're talking about for the first few.
Yep. Gene, I talked to you and Kim about this a few weeks ago. I think you guys are starting to design some. I don't know if you've got them done yet or whatever, but Kim and Gene are targeting basically landlords who are retiring, want to retire, kind of over it, ready to go on, right? Next chapter. And I asked one question of Gene and Kim, what's the reason they're getting out of that area? And it was they're tired of Chicago and they want the beach and warm weather. So they're currently designing a postcard where the front of it is like one part of the front of it is a picture of somebody trying to tear up and roll up a bunch of carpet. And then right next to it is a picture of like a beach chair on a beach with beautiful water. And it says, you could be here. And then on the other side of it, it has a brief little message on X Homes. Maybe they throw the QR code on it. Well, if I'm dropping those in the mail to a bunch of people that I know have multiple properties, and the general reason why property owners are leaving Chicago is to get the heck away from Chicago in the cold weather and get to warm weather. If you got one of those in the mail, do you think it would grab your attention? Even if it's nothing more than the fact that you saw that beach and your mind's going, God, that would be so nice to be there right now. Attention and engagement. That's it. That's all I need. Because it has to go deeper than just the first touch. Remember back a few weeks ago, what were some of the stats? Who remembers some of the percentages?
On hits, on contact?
Yeah. How deep into the process did you have to get before you were like one of the last ones really reaching them?
At least 6.
8 or 9, right?
Right. 8. If you were at touch 7, 8, 9 level, you're one of maybe 10% of marketers still trying to reach them. So it's step 1, the touch 1. I almost have to assume I can't get their attention. So I got to do something creative to get their attention. If Chewy mailed me a postcard to remind me that it was my dog's birthday and that I should probably buy them something, would that grab my attention near as much as this did? No, because I'm going to see that postcard and I'm going to just know that it's some marketing thing from Chewy. I'm not even going to pay attention to it. It's probably going to get ripped in half and thrown in the trash can, right? But this got my attention, got me to open it up, and made me realize, oh yeah, that's right. It's Winston's birthday, and I should do something for him, right? And they're trying to get my attention back there for that. Now, this is a one-touch campaign, right? This is just they're just shooting these out around different birthday times whenever they come out, hoping that a couple of people end up scanning the QR code, going to the site, buying something for 25, 35% discount as a birthday discount kind of thing. But what if this campaign, let's take this for a second, and I cancel their service. And all of a sudden I get a letter like this that's like a "we miss you" card. All right. This grabs me attention. I open it up and it's a card that's like, kind of miss you. Kind of feel like our relationship ended. Would love to get back together with you, kind of thing, right? And then it followed up a couple weeks later with something else, and then a couple weeks later with something, because they're trying to get me back, right? Maybe this got mailed, and then a couple weeks goes by, and I get a text message that's like, "We still miss you. Hope you received our letter." And maybe a couple weeks after that, I get another one that's like, "Okay, I really screwed up. We'll give you 50% off to show you we care." And it's the multi-touch campaign that's going to eventually, at some point, I'm going to be like, man, Chewy's really desperate. They're an easy date. I'll jump back on board for a month. Now we don't date in the real estate space, but this is the way that we got to start to think is touch 1 to touch 5. All I'm doing is just hoping I keep getting their attention. That's it. Because I know it's probably going to be more like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th time before I finally get them to the next level. So going back to Chris's initial question, that text message. One way, instead of saying, have you inherited a property? We have options. We would love to share with you. You already know that they probably have a property that they've inherited because you bought a probate list. That they're dealing with some form of the probate process. So talk to a pain that you know people in that process in your area typically deal with. I don't know what the probate process looks like in your area, what the timelines are on it. Are the courts backed up like crazy? You know, what's some of the big pains as you've talked? This goes back a couple of weeks ago where I said do some interviewing a little bit. Because when you know what they're really going through, now I speak to the pain in it. And instead of saying we would love to share with you, right? We have options that we would love to share with you. Maybe instead of that statement, it's more like we've helped others just like you. And I could leave it at that. Or maybe I send that text and then I put a wait step of about 2 minutes. And then I fire another text that's like, oh, forgot to send you this. Check out some of the information we have here and put a link to maybe a blog article or something. That little bit of a wait and just the language in that. Oh, I forgot. It almost feels like now that that's actually a real person texting.
One of the pain points in probate anywhere in the country is waiting time. Okay, so maybe that's a pain point that you can address. Say, this probate process has to go through. It's going to take a long time. We know we went through it. Hang in there. Take care of yourself during this process. You know, something like that.
Absolutely. But I'm going to go back. I forget how long ago it was. I talked a lot about omnipresent. Who remembers what that phrase omnipresent means?
Oh,
Always present, everywhere.
Everywhere, right? Texting, is that a campaign or a tactic?
Tactic.
The tactic inside of this probate campaign. Well, if I want to be omnipresent in my probate campaign, Chris, and I'm using texting as one of my tactics, what are some other tactics at my disposal to help bring this feeling of everywhere to that person?
Well, like a postcard, like you just went over, a letter, sending a sort of a care package in a way to their home is another one.
A care package would be awesome.
Like a cheap one, though.
Exactly. But I mean, again, when we start really looking at marketing type stuff, what are you willing to spend to get a lead? Let me rephrase that. What are you willing to spend to get a deal?
A lot.
Chris, you buy a property in the Houston area. Let's say you get a probate property and you flip it. What's your average?
About 35, 40K.
So let's just call it 40K for easy numbers. What would you be willing to spend to make 40,000? If I told you, give me X and I will give you back 40,000 in 6 months, how much would you be willing to hand me to get that 40,000 back?
10X, 4K.
But I'd have to speak to Mr. Sal, but about 20K. To be honest, I'd spend half just to get that profit at this
So
point.
you'd be fine with a basically a double of the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put in 20, get my 20 and 20 other friends. So as you look at this probate campaign, why is it sometimes, and I should say the majority of the time, we as real estate investors, we cringe when it's like, all right, I'm going to go after some probates, but I only want to spend $500 on the campaign. But you just told me you'd be willing to spend 20 to make 40. Now, I'm not saying go out there and rack up 20K in the campaign, but could it get to that level?
Absolutely.
So this is where I go back even deeper. I've talked about this in the past. Mass marketing, buy a list of 10,000 probate leads, probate names, mail the hell out of them, call the hell out of them, text the hell out of them, hope I shake the tree hard enough to find one that falls out of it. That's all fine and dandy, but there's only really about what's the percentage, who remembers, that are ready to go right now. One to 3%. Whereas if I take a step back and stop trying to compete with everybody else in my market that's shaking the tree, shaking the tree, shaking the tree, and instead of me putting out a bunch of stuff to wait for that person to call back, to then jump in and do the due diligence, the desktop analysis, to look at where the house is, to see if it even makes sense. What if I did all of that up front? And I take a list of 1,000 names and pull out all the zip codes separated by zip code maybe, and I start going super granular into the zip code. And okay, I've got about 50 in this particular zip code, and I spend a couple hours today, and I just sit down and I start doing all my desktop analysis on each one of these, and I find 5 of those 50 that are in like, man, we've done one on that street before. I know that's a really good area, or this area and this. So now I've got 5 of these that are like really solid, man. If these people called me, I could do these. And what if I just prospect the hell out of those 5 really hard? Not saying I wouldn't still put stuff out to the other ones, but maybe I do a different campaign to the 5, 10, 15 that I've identified as really good opportunities, to where I can be a little bit more personable. And now, Chris, suddenly that idea of the care package. So you find a way to design a care package. We just had this. I just had these designed.
I just put a link in the chat. You love.
Had these designed up. So we're going to have those. There's going to be tumblers with our logos on them. There's going to be a pamphlet with the team on it. I just picked up the shirts yesterday. There'll be a t-shirt in the welcome box. And we've got this whole thing designed down for $40. There's going to be a pad folio like this in there, only green, not red. The whole entire box cost is like $40, plus anywhere from 10 to $15 in the shipping. Well, if I've got 4, 5, 6 opportunities that I've been working pretty hard, maybe not the first step of the process, but what if, Chris, you get their attention and they start to engage with you, and then you drop the box? And maybe it is a small little care package, right?
Yeah, it's like Aaron mentioned about the lasagna love. She put that in. It's the same thing Domino's did, right? Put all those gift cards of all kinds of places you can do something like that. Give gift cards in their local area that so they could get Domino's or something, right? You can just put that in a package.
Yeah, that's Domino's new play. They recently started doing everybody's surprise fees, right? Everybody's like tacking on all these extra fees. They're mainly playing against the food apps, right? the Uber Eats, the Postmates, DoorDash, that kind of stuff with all these damn fees that they add. And then the restaurant loses a bunch of money on like 30-40% on top of that. Domino's went out and bought up a bunch of gift cards to a bunch of the local restaurants. And when they send out the pizzas, they put a gift card with it. So now you bought a pizza, but now you've also gained a gift card to a local restaurant. Try to help the local restaurants get some money. Pretty unique selling proposition, if you ask me.
I like the
Second-
paving one myself.
Huh?
I like the paving one myself.
Yeah.
You seen that one or no?
Hmm.
So I forget where it was at. There was the people were bitching about the roads being all jacked up. So Domino's bought a blacktop paver and a dump truck with their logo slammed across the whole entire thing. And they were driving down the roads and fixing the roads so that their drivers didn't have to complain about the freaking road. They were
Pretty good attention getter, if you ask me.
Well, they were making their 30-minute time limits too.
Yep.
Is there any interest in Shawn doing a case study like this? You know, where you take a list and break it down, and how do you get down to those whales, so to speak, and move forward from there?
Well,
Marketing?
like me walk you through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
I'm actually doing that too with list stacking, trying to get
Right.
stack a bunch of lists and get even granular in where you're looking at sizes and everything. Yep.
I mean,
How many houses in Houston sell a year?
I think it was 28,000 or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Okay, so 28,000 properties a year move. Let's say that is the number. 28,000 homes a year sell. How many houses do you need to do this year?
6 to 8.
6 to 8. There's 28,000 that sell.
Yeah, I
You
know.
only need 6 to 8, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yet we go into panic mode
Mm-hmm.
because I
Right.
feel like I got to blast 5,000, 10,000 names because I'm in a rush and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to find my next deal. When could I take the step back and go, you know what? I'm going to geo target this zip code right here and this zip code only.
No, I love the idea. I love it.
I'm going to geo target this particular little neighborhood where we've done a couple. I like it. I've seen some. I've looked at. I know some other investors that have done some here, and I try to find something in that area. But here's the problem: for some reason, real estate investors panic. Well, I can't focus there and there only because what if somebody over here wanted to sell and I missed out on that opportunity? There's 28,000 freaking houses that are selling in Houston. I think you'll be okay finding one at some point.
By the way, I made a mistake. It's 107,000.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
100%.
even better.
Yeah.
Even better. So what if another
Yeah.
real estate investor finds a deal tomorrow in another
Yeah,
area
yeah.
that you're not focusing on? You got 1,000 other ones
Mm-hmm.
to get 6 or 8 out of.
Right.
But for some reason in our marketing, we get panic stricken and we try to be all things to everybody at all times out of fear that we're not going to hit our numbers.
You're right.
And this is why I really encourage on the real estate side to get niched specific. Gene and Kim are a great example of it. They're really focusing on landlords who have extra properties and want out. Kim and Marie doing the exact same thing in Phoenix. They're only focusing on the people that have a bunch of rental properties and are looking to sell. Now, where where Liz and Marie have gone super, super niche behind that is they're positioning themselves as the go-to experts to help you understand what's going to happen with your capital gains and how to avoid it. They're really becoming the like save your capital gains experts for rental property owners who are looking to liquidate. I think we cloned the phrase the other day, something like rental property liquidating experts. Can they do other stuff? Can they buy foreclosures? Could they do probates? Could they take on a bankruptcy situation? Absolutely. They've been around the block enough time. They've done enough other deals. But it's becoming really, really easy to market and message when they know that's exactly what they're trying to do. Gene, you've done corporate sales. What's the sales cycle been like? Your sales process? How long?
It's exactly like you're talking about. There's like a period where you're nurturing. So you also got to look at when they're ready to buy, because they'll have a budget ready, and then you can start nurturing them. You're not going to get the sale right away, but you get in front of them, and then you kind of like you said, you just like, you're omnipresent. You're blasting your logo, your company, everything that you're doing, LinkedIn, everywhere. You're attending all these conferences and meetings, and you're just everywhere. And then they'll come to you at that point.
Deanna does enterprise sales with UPS. Her clients, 2 commas in their annual spend in shipping. Couple million a year. Matter of fact, unless they're 10 million or more, she can't even touch them. It goes to what they call the middle market. Her sales cycle to bring on new opportunities, it's like 7 months. Well, she got handed a sales plan this year where she has to increase, I think it's something like 25 million is what she's personally responsible for bringing in over the course of 12 months. It's a 7-month cycle. So she started working tail end of fourth quarter, some opportunities, but those opportunities aren't even going to come in until the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, right? Stuff that she's starting working on right now, trying to find opportunities with these clients, getting some things in place with them, building relationships, trying to strategically look for the next opportunity to do business with them. Stuff that she's starting now ain't going to happen until August, September, October. We got to understand your sales cycle. Got to figure out what's that process look like. But then I love how Gene just said it. Outside of that, the omnipresent marketing all over the place, awareness level marketing. That's the consistent key for that 1 to 3% who are ready and call you right away. But the stuff that you're going out and scraping and trying to find, there's a process involved there. One letter ain't going to do it. One text message ain't going to do it. One phone call ain't going to do it. Hell, 3, 4, 5 text messages, 3, 4, 5 letters, 3, 4, 5 phone calls alone aren't going to do it. I'm going to keep hitting on this. This is why you got to think campaign. But we've got to also think strategic campaigns, multiples of them, not one broad one. That makes sense? And then stack your tactics. Chris, I like the idea of something in the mail first. I'm a big fan of direct mail when done right. I'm not a big fan of blanketing direct mail everywhere because it's way too broad. But I'm a big fan of very strategic direct mail, followed up with very strategic follow-up action, follow-up messaging. A cold text to somebody, yes, 95% of text messages are read. 98% of them are read and responded to in the first 3 minutes. But what stats don't show is, of those responses, how many of the 98% that are responded to are responded with something other than stop, go away, F you, right? Because if they respond with that, guess what that is? It's a response. It's just like direct mail. 1 to 3% of the stuff that you throw out will get a response. But how many of those 1 to 3% responses are people calling you saying, take me off your list? I don't want to talk to you. Go away. And a lot of times it's just because the messaging put them in a defensive mode immediately that they impulse pick up the phone and call and say that. Even if I have no desire to do any more business with Chewy, this did not make me want to call them and tell me to stop mailing them, or tell them to stop mailing me, right? Or take me off their list. I was left in a happy mood, even though I'm not going to go and buy anything else from them for Winston's birthday. Good. Did I get some wheels spinning there?
They're going 90 miles an hour.
Key is you got to start taking the action behind this, though. It's not just shake the head and be like, yeah, sounds good, sounds good. You got to actually put some action behind it, because guess what really dictates how well it's working or not? Results or lack thereof. Thoughts, comments, questions, clarity? No?
I guess for me, the hesitation is, because we've tried like direct mail, and we sent out a lot of mailers, and you really don't get back that many, or a lot. We've gotten back a lot of bad addresses. So it kind of feels like you're spending all this money, and you're not really seeing anything in return. So that's the only hesitation that I have towards it. Now I agree with what you're saying. When we did that in the beginning, it wasn't like we weren't like targeting anybody. We were just pulling a big list and just sending it out. So maybe that's what we need to, that'll be the adjustment next time.
That's why I'm a big fan of strategically scrubbing that down. I'm not saying don't go buy the list. I'm not saying don't buy a list, get it, skip trace, pull in some more information and data, right? And have all of that. But then I'm saying get strategic, and don't do step 2 in step 2's position. Instead, do step 2 in step 1. And that is pull a section of that list and go, you know what, for the next month, we're going to target these couple zip codes. Well, today I'm going to sit down, I'm going to scrub through this particular portion of these zip codes, and I'm going to do some desktop analysis really quick. Start plugging in some addresses. I'm going to start taking some look at stuff, and I'm going to really quickly shit can the stuff that just doesn't look good. Bad size property, not in a good location. If they would have called me and I pulled this up in 5 minutes, I'd have been like, yeah, not really something I want to pay attention. It sits next to the highway. It's, right up against a bad park or something like that, right? Get those off of there, because you're not going to do anything with them whether they call you or not anyway. Get them off the list and start honing that thing down to, okay, here's the batch that if we got an opportunity on any of these, we could make something work depending on numbers, right? We don't know the numbers yet, but we at least know they meet our sniff test. They're in a good area. They're on streets that we like. They've got good features around them. I've already kind of seen the property from street view, whatever the case, in my desktop analysis. I know if I were doing this in my market, I'd be immediately like taking a look at it and going, oh, no garage, throw it away. Because I don't want to even spend the time or the effort to build a garage, and we have to have garages. So no garage, get it out of there. And there's a lot of those properties out there. Get them off of the list. There's some in the, certain zip codes where I know there's a triangle of a couple streets that you just don't want to live on. The crime's too bad. Well, any houses that fall in that category, when I do the search, boom, pull them off the list. Get that list down to where, okay, now we've got a manageable list that if I were to get something here, if numbers made sense, we could do the deal. Now I can get strategic with putting some marketing out and not feel so bad about spending the money, because I know that not all of them are going to contact me. And if I did a little deeper research and just maybe looked them up on the county site, made sure that the address and everything that I had was correct. I'm going to better my chances of getting delivery, right? And then I launched the campaign. And sure, you're going to hit some people that somebody already got in front of you on. Whatever. There's 106 other thousand opportunities out there that are going to sell this year. And I only need 6 to 8 of them. If I'm doing my awareness marketing on a consistent basis, blog articles online, paying attention to my SEO, showing up better in search results, having social media presence, getting some things out there, right? Branding myself offline, actually having my logo in places, putting some stuff around, having some signage up if I can get that up, that type of stuff. That'll eventually catch some wind and it'll pull 1 or 2 opportunities for you. It'll feel slower. You just got to fight through that first couple months of feeling like nothing's really happening yet. But in reality, a lot's happening. A lot of headaches are being dealt with early, getting them out of the way, right? A lot of pointless stuff. We get all excited because the phone rings, got an opportunity in, you jump down on your computer, do desktop analysis and realize, oh, that's a terrible deal. That's a terrible location. Well, let me get rid of those ahead of time. All right. I've been helping a friend of mine that owns an agency like ours, but he only focuses on lawn care companies. But what he's realized is he only wants to focus on lawn care companies that are currently doing about $500,000 a year. Gene, do you think lawn care companies in Chicago are doing about $500,000 a year? Not really.
Very few.
So is he focusing on trying to find lawn care companies in the Chicagoland area? No, but he buys what's called SIC code lists for businesses. And we've been helping him scrub that down and getting rid of these key areas that, the Midwest, the Northeast, you ain't going to find companies of that size there. Why? Because they can't do lawn care year round.
If he doesn't have plows on his vehicles, then he's not a good landscaper in the Chicago area.
Well, even then, you're still relying on, you hope that they actually get enough snow for the year. What if you have a low snow year on top of that, right? Whereas I find a company in Texas or Florida or Southern California where that's a 365-day-a-year business now. All right, our landscaper shows up every single Thursday to my house.
I was going to say, not the last 2 weeks. It's been freezing.
Well, he was there Thursday. He'll be there this Thursday. There every Thursday. He's not just at our house on our street. He's at 7 other houses on Thursday on our street. And that's in the afternoon. Imagine what he's doing all morning, right? Imagine what he's doing the other 5 days out of the week that he's working. Shrink your audience down. You'll find your opportunities. We good? Sweet. With that, I'm going to go ahead and